Okay, we're about to unpack a massive, truly existential shift facing marketplace operators today. We really need to ask what actually happens to platform monetization when AI agents start doing the discovering instead of humans. For 2 decades, marketplaces have completely relied on a very specific human behavior to make their money. But, that foundational behavior, it is changing right under our feet.
I want you to consider this quote. The search bar was, in many ways, the most elegant tax a marketplace ever invented. Think about that for a second. For years, suppliers have literally paid just to be found. They bought sponsored listings, they've placed keyword bids, they've poured money into SEO, all just to maintain a profile optimized enough to finally surface on page one. The marketplace basically just sat right in the middle and collected a toll at the exact moment of discovery. It was this invisible, beautifully scalable toll booth that has reliably funded platforms for over 20 years. But what happens when that toll booth gets totally bypassed?
So, here's our roadmap for this explainer to help us navigate this shift. First, we'll look at the invisible toll booth. Then, the traffic shift. Third, what early movers built. Fourth, the new visibility stack. And finally, selling agent legibility. Let's dive right in.
Section 1, the invisible toll booth, and losing the perfect tax.
Well, in the old model, suppliers weren't just buying ads, right? They were actually paying to hedge their own visibility risk. It was basically an insurance policy against the anxiety of not being found. If you opted out, your competitors just took your spot. But that whole game relied entirely on human browsing. Humans, we scroll, we scan, we get totally distracted by premium layouts and shiny sponsored listings. An AI agent, on the other hand, it operates entirely differently. It doesn't scroll, it doesn't care about a pretty layout, it simply starts a conversation, queries the data, and parses the information without ever scanning a visual page. And here's the real kicker. Conversations just don't have promoted slots.
Section 2, the traffic shift, and when clicks disappear.
Now you might be thinking this disruption is just some futuristic prediction. No way. This is happening right now on the open web. Clicks are literally disappearing. Google's AI overviews are synthesizing answers directly, which is causing content publishers to see click-through rates plummet by 20 to 60% on informational queries. The search volume is absolutely still there, but the clicks are just gone, because the AI answered the question up front. Take TripAdvisor, for example. They used to easily capture buyers mid-research with queries like, best restaurants in Austin or hotels near the convention center. Now, those queries are being entirely absorbed by AI summaries before the user ever even clicks a link. Marketplaces are fundamentally losing their top-of-funnel entry points.
So what's actually at stake here? $56 billion. That's not just some theory or a wild projection. That is the exact amount of ad revenue Amazon generated in 2024, predominantly from sponsored products sitting right inside those search results. To put that into perspective, if discovery shifts from a traditional search bar to a conversational AI agent, tens of billions of dollars in highly profitable revenue across the marketplace industry are suddenly standing on very shaky ground. The smart question we need to ask isn't when does this break? Actually, scratch that. It's more like, what do we build before it does?
Section 3, what early movers built. Testing the waters.
The industry's biggest players absolutely see this coming, and they're already actively rebuilding the visibility layer. Take Amazon's approach, for example. They're fiercely defending their ecosystem by just moving the toll booth upstream. With their AI shopping assistant, Alexa for Shopping, they are keeping discovery entirely inside their own surface. When a buyer asks the assistant a question, the results come strictly from Amazon's catalog. And importantly, they launched sponsored prompts in March 2026. This is a cost-per-click placement sitting right inside the AI-generated response. It's the exact same toll booth, guys, just moved one layer up into the chat interface.
But shoving ads into a chat interface is highly risky. We can contrast two very distinct approaches here. Instacart successfully built AI-optimized advertising, where a brand surfaces dynamically at the exact moment the AI determines the buyer's intent is highest. It perfectly aligns with discovery behavior. On the flip side, Perplexity ran this fascinating experiment where brands could sponsor a follow-up question in an AI chat. Well, by early 2026, they had to abandon it entirely. Why? Because users felt the recommendations were instantly biased. Perplexity proved a really harsh truth. A conversational interface simply does not forgive paid sponsored results the way a traditional search page does. If users think the AI is paid to give a specific answer, the trust just completely collapses.
And this is exactly why eBay and Shopify are taking a completely different, much smarter route. They realize that in an AI world, clean data is literally everything. eBay introduced their magical listing tool, which uses AI to help sellers auto-generate incredibly detailed, consistently formatted product listings. Shopify is pushing merchants really heavily toward API-first, structured product data, and semantic search. They aren't trying to trick the AI, they're feeding it. A merchant who just uploads a blurry photo and a price tag, they're totally invisible to an AI agent. Clean, machine-readable data, verified inventory, complete attributes, these are fast becoming the ultimate visibility requirements. For sure, better listings are the new SEO.
Section 4. The new visibility stack. Rebuilding visibility.
So if the old ways of getting noticed are breaking down, what exactly replaces them? Let's walk through this new framework. Capturing human attention is being entirely replaced by the need for machine-readable data. Think about it. In the past, you relied heavily on keyword search ads. Now, you absolutely need agent-optimized placement right at the intent signal. Instead of traditional SEO and organic ranking to fight your way to page 1, you now survive through structured data completeness and inventory APIs that agents can instantly parse without ever visiting your page. And what about your shiny 4.8 star rating? Look, to an AI agent, a star rating buried in HTML is just visual decoration. The old review systems must be replaced by agent-legible trust and guarantee APIs. We're talking structured data that an AI can actually factor into its recommendation logic. The pattern is crystal clear across the board. Human attention is out, structured, machine-actionable data is in.
Section 5. Selling Agent Legibility, the new moat. Okay, so how do you actually charge for this new model without completely destroying user trust? The answer is shifting from temporary placement to something much, much more valuable: legibility. Legibility simply means you are findable wherever discovery happens. Placement is super fragile, right? It's just a slot you rent for a day, totally dependent on a human looking at a specific screen. But legibility? That is a durable, lasting capability. It means your underlying asset is clean, structured, queryable data that works across every AI surface in every emerging protocol. As a marketplace platform, your new job, and honestly, your massive new revenue stream, is helping your suppliers build this exact legibility.
So let's get practical. How do we monetize this? Here are 3 powerful new avenues. First up, selling structured data infrastructure. If being machine-readable is the new way to be seen, the tools that help suppliers achieve that are incredibly valuable. Think paid tier plans that include way better data feeds. Second, certifying agent-legible quality. If an AI agent can query an official certification, kind of like StockX's authentication or Airbnb's AirCover, then that certification becomes a premium visibility product you can actually charge for. Third, protocol participation fees. As emerging AI transaction standards mature, being listed as a trusted transaction source is going to carry massive commercial value. The era of the simple search bar tax is ending, folks. The future belongs to platforms offering services that suppliers actually want and absolutely need to pay for just to stay alive in the market.
I want to end this explainer with a real challenge for anyone building or operating in this space right now. I want you to ask yourself honestly, if an AI agent queried your platform's supply data directly today, what would it find? Is your catalog structured well enough to be parsed, compared, and acted on without a human ever having to read the page? Because if it isn't, you don't just have a technical debt problem, you have a massive existential visibility problem. It is time to start building for the agent, not just the human. Take these frameworks, go check your data structures, and prepare your platforms for the conversation-first future.